Sometimes doing this here on these video platforms requires a little bit of insight into various fields. I take advantage of the insight and I spit out videos and you guys watch them, which I absolutely appreciate. These jobs fall within the construct of the media, right? There's all kinds of different types of media, and if you've watched any of my videos in the last several months, I've kind of worked through all of them, from books and television to obviously film and streaming, radio, you name it. I like covering the media, and sometimes I can prognosticate a little bit based on some of the insights that I've gleaned while I've been doing it. And I have some bad news for folks that work in media, and specifically those in a few companies that have recently merged with others. And while there's a very rosy picture being painted of the media landscape as far as the job market is concerned right now, I think it's rather short-lived. I think we're about to see the greatest tornado of pink slips that you could possibly imagine, and it's going to push the number of job losses across the media market to a new high, something that we haven't seen since probably 2019. Let's see what the future holds, despite some optimistic outlook from the article we'll cover. Here we go. As I often do, I like to grab articles with numbers and charts and graphs and data, because I like data. And so oftentimes I use Variety and their Variety Intelligence Platform documents to make my points. And let me tell you, it's worked pretty well. There are other articles I cover from other sources, trades, AP, doesn't matter. But I've been finding some really high quality articles lately from Variety, so here we go. Media job market off to strong start in 2022. Following a record rebound for the media industry job market last year, 2022 already off to a strong start. It has been a roller coaster ride for the job market over the last couple of years, and while some challenges remain, layoffs in the media industry might have finally stabilized. Oh boy, do I have surprises for them. You can see from this chart, it shows the levels that have shifted from 1998, and they call out several different years, including, most importantly, 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022, which is very, very low, at least year to date, which again, the time these numbers were put together, January, February, that's doing really well. It's doing really well indeed. This has been the most stable January, February across all years. So they're not wrong there. In the first 2 months of the year, there were only 200 job cut announcements in the media sector. That figure was the lowest level since 1998, when there were 140 media jobs cut, according to the global outplacement firm Challenger, Gray and Christmas. There were 0 media layoffs in January, and all 200 for this year were in February. For comparison, the first 2 months of 2021, there were 1,731 cuts, 2,378 cuts in 2022. What I find fascinating by the way they put the data together and the way it's being reported, it sounds terribly optimistic. Job cuts have been happening in media at an accelerated rate for a very long time, and the reason January, February are important is because of the way the quarterly structure works for many of these media entity companies. So again, I don't know that jumping all over this is a good idea, but I'll keep going. This comes after a record rebound for media hiring in 2021. Hiring recouped some losses as film and television production returned, theme parks reopened their doors, employers allowed employees to voluntarily return to offices, etc., etc. As a result, media saw an 87% decline in job cut announcements in 2021. Last year's total was the lowest since Challenger, Gray and Christmas began tracking the industry in 2003. However, despite the year's strongest start, are still some looming concerns for the media job market. And this is the most important fact of the story. The aggressive M&A activity in the industry over the past year or so will inevitably lead to some reorganization, restructuring, following the completion of these mergers and acquisitions. No kidding. About a week ago, Vox Media informed employees it would be laying off 3% of its staff upon the closure of its merger with Group 9. There were about 2,000 employees between the two companies, thus about 60 are expected to be let go. I would imagine it'll be about 100, but that's just my guess. I understand the math of it all, but I think it's going to be bigger than they think. Vox Media's CEO Jim Bankoff noted that revenue organization, core services, and studio divisions will be impacted by layoffs. There you go. There's an even bigger impending merger, which just completed, between Warner Media and Discovery. In fact, they've already named their board. This is about to completely shake out by, at latest, mid-April, but I promise you, the jobs will be lost. AT&T previously stated in a press release that it would be creating at least $3 billion in cost synergies annually. That's a lot of salaries, ton of salaries. Though cost synergies are a familiar part of M&A, it is just a euphemism for cost reductions, which typically result in layoffs. No kidding. Warner Media and Discovery create different kinds of content, and thus editorial and creative positions would likely remain intact. However, other jobs, including human resources, legal, accounting, and IT, are likely to see cuts. Of course they're going to. Even management positions. Creative positions are going to be redundant. Distributions are going to be redundant. They already have a lot of redundant. The Warner organization was trying to get rid of their redundant and kind of stopped halfway while they worked out this other way to spin this company off from AT&T. So there's going to be a lot of pink slips, and that's just there. We also just had another one come up, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Though there could be a spike in job cuts in the middle of the year, overall media is tracking well compared to prior years. I think they're overly optimistic. Not to mention, employers in the US are still looking for qualified candidates to fill open roles, which they can't find. They've driven out the qualified candidates, and they consider a qualification filling in a bunch of check boxes that most people aren't going to do. I wonder if anybody's come to that realization yet. We'll see. As of the end of January, job openings in the U.S. totaled 11.3 million and remained at historical highs. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Well, they also are telling you that there are the record number or record amount of unemployment low is also there. But I digress. We'll keep going. With everything else going on in the world, both geopolitically, no kidding, and economically, the U.S. job market has remained rather resilient in the face of hardship. Despite the challenges that lie ahead, the opportunities in the media industry will continue to present themselves as conditions improve going forward. Fascinating. But here's the other thing they're missing. Amazon just acquired MGM. That's going to cause some job things. You just had Microsoft, Blizzard, Activision thing happen. And whether or not you believe that's going to cost some media jobs, it will. You have the potential for Paramount to go to someone else this year. You have these media entities continuing to roll into smaller and smaller locations, requiring staff reductions. This isn't ending anytime soon. As mergers and acquisitions are going to continue to dominate over the course of the year as people go out and acquire more content creators and bring them in-house, you're going to see more and more pink slips. And let me tell you, they're not done when it comes to the news media either. You're going to start seeing more and more shakeups at companies like Vox Media, where they just don't need all that staff to write the handful of stories that they're pretty much outsourcing at $50 a piece anyway. So if you are looking for a gig in a position for a media company, just be aware it's going to be a volatile 2022. With that being said, please take time to throw some comments down below. Let me know what you think of this year and the media landscape as far as the job market is concerned. Do you foresee the same flurry of pink slips that I do during the coming months? I'm not overly joyful at that. I just think that it's interesting that the industry is willfully ignorant of the precarious position that it's in across the board. And anything else you'd like to say about this subject, please, like I said, use the comments down below. I would appreciate it. Of course, that increases engagement, which I encourage you to do for other independent creators here on this platform. They absolutely can, well, they can use your support in any way that you can do it, whether it be the comments, whether it's the like, which is important. Obviously, subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you get everything that they're doing. And definitely share out whatever it is they produce, especially if you enjoy it, because that'll share it with other people and hopefully succeed in conquering the algorithm for them, and obviously for me too, because right now that thing's tipped towards the corporate content creators, which are kind of in the position where they could be losing their gig pretty soon. Well, or some of them anyway. With that being said, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm.